I'm not gonna lie, for a while I wasn't liking what a lot of Six Flags and their new CEO was doing. Selim Bassoul talked a lot about improving guest experience and whatnot, but all he did for the first few months was raise prices and cut hours for a lot of their parks, while saying improvements around the way. Well, we're finally seeing some action on those words. And I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with what the new CEO is showing us. One thing that he is personally doing is that he's putting his health on the line to help Six Flags improve some of their most basic food options. During the company's fourth quarter earnings call, Bassoul said that he ate 100 burgers, 200 pizza slices, and 100 chicken tender orders in the past 100 days. I think it deserves a round of applause, because I don't think most people would do that unless their survival depended on it. If that doesn't show you commitment, I don't know what will. I am by no means a picky eater, but I generally try to avoid those foods at Six Flags. They aren't the worst thing ever, but they don't taste that good by any means, plus they aren't doing any good for your health. Bassoul said he was looking to revamp some of the formulas that the company uses on a wide scale. So hopefully that means the food will be better in 2022 and beyond. He said that some of the food he tasted was better than any theme park food he'd ever had, so let's hope he's right. Now, this definitely shows that the new CEO is committed to improving food offerings in the chain, but I also think this ties into his overarching plan to make food become one of the company's strong suits. Bassoul gave a lot of insight into his plans for the upcoming year with the company, and it looks like there's a lot of improvements coming chain-wide and a lot of improvements coming at each park individually. Today we're going to be talking about what Six Flags has in store for 2022 and why I think the CEO has the chain moving in the right direction. Before we get into all of that, make sure to do me a favor by giving this video a like and subscribe to the channel for all sorts of Six Flags content coming very soon. Another thing to note is that I just made a video discussing what I think each park in the chain needs to do to improve as a park, and some things that I talked about in that video were addressed in the earnings call, which I will reference in this video. So I recommend checking that video out at some point. That said, let's get right into some of the improvements coming to each park for this upcoming year. Six Flags is actually adding a bunch of rides for this season. Not every park is getting a ride, but most parks are getting either a delayed attraction or something brand new. A few of the major ones include Wonder Woman Flight of Courage and RMC Raptor, that will be the 20th coaster to come to Six Flags Magic Mountain, and Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger, coming to Six Flags Fiesta Texas, which will be the first B&M dive coaster to come to the chain and will be the first B&M to come to a Six Flags park in a decade. There's a handful of others like Aquaman Power Wave coming to Six Flags Over Texas, Catwoman Whip coming to Six Flags St. Louis, and Wahoo Wave coming to Darien Lake. However, new rides aren't going to be the main focus of this video. Six Flags Great Adventure is arguably getting one of the best packages of improvements for 1 year that we've ever seen at a Six Flags park. The biggest one is the park's floatless coaster being renamed from Bizarro to Medusa, which is the theme that it originally opened with. Some other cool things that the park is bringing back a former kiddie ride in a continued expansion of their newly rethemed Junior Thrill Seekers. They're adding a single rider line to some of the most popular rides in the park like El Toro, Nitro, Drizzy Devil, and Medusa, in addition to making the Flash Pass system completely mobile and accessible from your phone. The park is also adding a Fat Burger restaurant along with a slew of menu changes to other food locations around the park. The park is repainting Batman the Ride, and they're adding a new festival, and they're offering more ways to experience the Wild Safari as well. Darien Lake's water park is also receiving some improvements as it's being rethemed to Hurricane Harbor. The park will add more seating, lounge chairs, and a new selfie spot with a 20-foot tall shark that is expected to return after disappearing last year. The wave pool is also getting a new mural, which should be cool as well. Six Flags Fiesta Texas has a bunch of cool little upgrades for the 30th anniversary, which will include a neon sign and some restaurant improvements like the rest of the chain will get. I've also heard Over Georgia made some small improvements like paving their parking lot, so that's good to see as well. I actually get to see a list of other improvements the park will be making for this season, but unfortunately I could not find that list. But the point still stands that they are trying to improve the park. The chain is probably going to announce more improvements for more parks at a later time, so I'm excited to see if they follow the current trend. Six Flags has long been known for being a budget chain, and their parks have reflected upon that. The general quality and scenery in the parks just was not up to par with some other chains like Cedar Fair, SeaWorld, and Disney. Although I never found their parks to be that bad, there is definitely a noticeable drop off in quality with Six Flags parks compared to the other chains. A lot of parks in the chain were lacking landscaping, nice scenery, and even cleanliness in some areas. The food has been a long-standing complaint about most Six Flags parks. There's a lot of times where I've had a bad meal at a Six Flags park, especially at Darien Lake. A lot of people have claimed to have never had a good meal at a Six Flags park, so I'm sure this group of people will love to see these changes. I think the CEO trying to fix the most basic food items in the chain is a big step in the right direction. Things like chicken tenders, burgers, and especially their god-awful pizza at some places really needed some work. I hope that they also work on their preservation techniques, because I'm sure that's a big component of the issue. The thing that has been getting me most excited is that it looks like the chain will be bringing in more third-party vendors to their parks, which should instantly add some great food options that everyone will love. We'll be seeing this at Great Adventure, where they're taking out their smaller Johnny Rockets location and replacing it with a Fatburger restaurant. I know these restaurants have similar offerings, and in fact they're both chains, but I'm sure some people will like to have one over the other, so it's always positive when you can diversify your offerings. The company has also put out statements saying that they will work to revamp menus at existing locations, which is another thing that is much needed because most restaurants seem to have very similar menus to each other. To me and a lot of other people, these little things can separate a good day from a bad day if the rides aren't that good or operations are poor, something along those lines. Things like a trashy appearance, bad food, and a bad atmosphere can kill the experience at a park for me. The fact that the CEO not only understands this, but is also doing his best to make immediate changes is a great thing. The catch of all this is a slight raise in prices for season passes from what the old system was. Prices seem to be pretty low for the basic pass, which allows you to get into the local amusement park and water park at the very minimum, with some parks offering entry to other regional locations for roughly $70 give or take. The next highest pass is about $170 on average, but that pass gives access to all Six Flags parks, which is still cheaper than any other major chain. The highest level pass is about $300, but that pass comes with a whole bunch of other benefits including meals, credit for upcharge attractions, and a bunch of other stuff that I talked about in a video that you can go check out by clicking the link in the iBox. Looking at the big picture, I think the higher prices should be worth it given all the upgrades the chain is planning. Obviously, each park following through on all these changes is a different story that probably won't be told until the summer, but until then, I have a lot of optimism heading into the 2022 season. That said, I'd like to know what you guys think about these changes down in the comments below. Do you think that they'll be worth the raise in prices, or do you think that they won't be? Make sure to let me know. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more Six Flags content coming very soon. With all that said, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.